Hello, welcome back to Druidaria, and today we're going to be building some cool stuff. So I've figured out that we need more room for our NPCs, and there's a nice big space over here to the left of the archery range. We're going to expand this out, dig down a bit, and create a nice little area for some of our NPCs. We're getting so many NPCs in thick and fast that the first thing I wanted to build was a nice little section of shops. And then we're going to have some like aqueducty style concrete bridges that go above it. So let's jump in. The first thing I'm doing is using the drill containment unit, this beast of a mount, to dig out some of the area next to the archery ground. There we go. It's nice, it's super quick, and yeah, this footage is sped up. I don't quite do it this quickly. Every now and again you might see things in the background just disappear, like things on the floor, because I'm using a button that just picks up everything off the floor. I'm also using a mod, not cheat sheet I think it's Heroes mod, but it lets me use a hammer and a pickaxe at super fast speed, and it gives me infinite reach as well, which are two of the perfect things I need for building. Excellent tools. So I put down a layer of grey brick. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit some of the holes in because there was a little slug there, a little piece of bait. So I dug a hole and buried that sucker and put down some more of this grey brick. This is going to be the foundations for the little area down here, which is where the villagers are going to hang out. And yeah, this is going to be their little kind of shop section. I want it to feel like an RPG town. So you walk along and there's like a Fletcher's, a blacksmith, and like just shops with those kinds of themes. And NPCs according to whatever that is inside, whatever the shop is, to fill up the space. So we're using red brick on top of the grey brick, because I think red brick shops look pretty cool. And we're trying out some backgrounds as well. I tried out the red brick background first, and then I put down some iron grates, because I thought they will look like cool shop windows. I used actuators here to make the walls seem a bit more in the background, so it has that more authentic look of a shop. Problem is though, it doesn't count as an NPC house when you use actuators in the background. It makes it think there's no walls at all, which is a bit of a shame. Now there is an item in the game, in one of the mods I'm pretty sure, or something like that lets you designate any area as a place where an NPC can spawn. So we could, in theory, just create any old building that looks pretty sweet, designate it as housing, and then put one of those things in there, and then even if it isn't quite actually legit housing, people will stop by and live there. So the theme I'm going for is the bottom layer is going to be the actual shop, the bit with the iron grates. That's going to be where the NPC lives, and then everything above it is basically decoration. So I'm using dynasty wood, my favourite, your favourite, everyone's favourite wood, and glass panes here to create a cool window effect, but the glass is too clear. I've used moon glow planters here as like kind of flower boxes, and I like the effect that we achieve with that. But yeah, the glass is a bit too plain. I think yellow stained glass is the best one because it makes it look like there's a nice warm light inside. Like a hearty hearth. Now, bam, what's happening here? I'm using the copy and paste tool from Cheat Sheet to quickly replicate an area of the world and copy it over. Unfortunately, this isn't a seamless tool, as you find out, and I have to do a bit of like patchwork repair jobs on the background. But yeah, as you can see, it's all kind of coming together pretty well, and we're putting down. Oh, it's nighttime. It's getting pretty dark. Let me turn off that rain if I can. Now, but a whole bunch of doors down here, and the idea was the doors are supposed to look like they're flat in the background and not like they're open doors. But there's too many at the moment. We only need one door for each section, so we'll come back and remedy that later on. Luckily enough, though, the dynasty shingles on the roof act as a kind of wall, so we can keep that background looking aesthetic, so it looks kind of like a shop still, but also it remains feasible player housing. I tried some grey brick in the background, but it didn't work. Oh, who's that up in the top left? Is it Cobbler? He's just moved in. Nice. So as I was putting down tables and chairs, I tried to use a different table and chair for every room. People were moving in, and the cobbler up there, well, he's supposed to live down in the bottom left, but he doesn't like going down to his house, so we had some troubles later on just getting him to move. I chiseled out some of those doors, just got rid of them, put down some decorations. Here's a grandfather clock, loving it. And some paintings here and there, and I used yellow stained glass again as background windows for those shop areas. And I'm pretty happy with that look. Oh man, I'm trying to put grey brick here on top of this house, but I'm having trouble because the cobbler just won't move. Now again, I used actuators here to make the background walk-throughable, and this whole section here, you see the grey brick in the background and the darker grey brick wall, that's supposed to represent the back layer that you can climb up. I used wooden platforms here to make some stairs that kind of mesh down with this. And then what I'm doing here is I'm using some grey brick wall and some actuators to make this staircase kind of be in the background, so you can get down here, but you can also run up them and get through. And then iron grates complete the effect of having it seem like a background layer. And there you go, perfect. Now we had to get rid of this cobbler somehow, but we'll come back to that in a bit. Now I love the idea of having like a tiered town that exists in the background, as you can see here with the actuators. Looks pretty cool. And it lets us raise the whole town up on stilts a bit and make a bit more use of the space, because one of the worst things is when you have to travel really far to the left or right to kind of see your NPCs. And yet, if we were playing a purely functional playthrough of Terraria, we would just create a massively kind of like lame hotel that looks kind of junk, but it keeps all your NPCs very close, but we're trying to keep that cool aesthetic going as well, trying to keep it looking like a nice town. So here we go, I'm just trying to spawn in like a few slimes, and it turns out the cobbler's a bit of a resilient NPC, so it took a lot of frickin' slimes before he exploded. But when he finally did explode, he put down some more stone brick, and he did pop back pretty soon, so there you go. So again, I'm building down here again using the same idea, actuators on grey brick, to create that cool kind of stairway effect that's in the background. Check it out. And I love that. I love the way that looks. I toyed around with some ideas with the background wall to try and get it to look right, but it kind of felt okay with just that 2 thickness. Boom! Well, now we have the shops along the bottom, and that's given us room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more NPCs. And they're just playing rock, paper, scissors down there at the bottom, having a good time. But above that, I cracked out some stone slab because I wanted to have a keep. Because we've got the knight, and I felt like he should live in a castle. But not only that, we're going to have a few wizard NPCs. There's a wizard, a sorcerer. Later on, there's a warlock. There's also the alchemist. And all those guys feel like they should live inside a castle-y kind of school of study. So we can say that like the knight and the demon guy, the mercenary demon dude, he can live here later on. And also the mages can live here, and this can be kind of like a school of magic. So again, I built up with the stone slab here. And I kept it two blocks thick, because I think the key to having like good-looking buildings is thickness of walls. Sometimes 3 or 4 thick is ideal as well, and that lets you chisel into the insides of the bricks and add even more detail. Because the thicker your walls, the thicker the kind of volume to your build, the more freedom you have with detail. Now we're replicating an old Minecraft technique I used to have in Minecraft building here, by using bricks and then fences in between the gap to make it look like a supported section of tower. There we go. Dynasty wood, everybody's favourite. And then I'm using actuators here and dark fence grates to make this look like it's in the background layer, because darker things look like they're shaded in the background and lighter things look like they're more forefront, as is evident by the walls down here as well. And again, we're just using the stone slab walls to give this place a background. We could get a bit more lively with this, a bit more decorative, but that would take a long time, and I want to think about who's going to live here first before I make any concrete, no pun intended, decisions on how to build these. Now we're using some peaked roofs here with the Dynasty shingles, one of my favourite blocks in the game. And we're going to use the blue ones, because we've already used the red ones down below. And again, it's a case of just having a small tower there on the left, and then recreating that peaked roof effect on the tower in the middle, the main tower. But it might be that we need another tower, or we even need to make this a little bit higher, because when I was finished with this, even more wizard NPCs moved in than I was expecting. So these guys are going to need a bit more room to study, learn, and set up shop. Now again, actuated walls or actuated blocks don't make walls as far as NPC housing is concerned. So that Dynasty wall in the background, that Dynasty wood that's darker there, that's going to have to go and be replaced by platforms, unfortunately. But that's okay. Sometimes you've got to take a hit to make a functional building. There we go, down goes the platform. put down some doors, and I like the dungeon door effect. It keeps it looking like an old kind of keep. And we've used the darker iron fences there as a background to link up those two towers. And boom, it's time to put in some more rooms at the bottom of the keep. Now I think in total, I could probably fit about 4 extra rooms down here. 1, 2, and then down in the bottom, 3, 4. Pretty cool. And again, I'm using dynasty wood here, getting the hammer out, and messing that around until it looks like it's supporting the roof above it. That's a pretty cool look, I think. Now I could use actuators to make those background, but there's not much point because you're not going to jump up and down, and it's fine having them there in the foreground. Now the first room here is the knight's room, so I put up some banners, a sword rack, and a kind of like an armor statue. I think that looks pretty cool. But again, we need to use windows in here rather than iron grates because they don't function as functional housing with those iron grates, and it's a bit of a shame, but you know, that's fair enough. So I want to put in some decoration up here in the alchemist's room because this little tower on the left is going to be where the alchemist is, and he's a very important NPC to me because I'm playing the alchemist class, something that I'm really enjoying actually. Now instead of using conventional bookshelves, I've just put up some wooden platforms and covered them in books. It lets you get a bit more bang for your buck and lets you put books up high on shelves. And there we go, that is one wizard room and one alchemist room. We're going to have to expand this tower for sure, because there's way more wizardy NPCs that we want to get inside here. Unless you put them in the bottom of the keep. And we might do that, because we can say the knight is kind of like the protector, like the warder of the wizards that live here. And then the rest of it's just like, you know, scholarly arts. We can decorate the background with tapestries and bookshelves and bookcases. Also put down some shelves up there for the alchemist and put some bottles on those. Something for him to put his potions in, because that's what he's all about. But yeah, pretty exciting. And the platform above the archery range, that's going to be somewhere where we can move forwards with and maybe put down like a blacksmith for the blacksmith and some other bespoke housing to fit the NPCs that we've got. But that's it for this episode of Druidaria Let's Build. If you have any comments or ideas, make sure you hit the comment section right now and let me know. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.